Welcome to a Trollwind gaming review of Torchlight 2. Torchlight 2 is a great game if you're into boring, shitty games. I'll be honest with you, this game is way overhyped for what you get. The graphics are probably some of the worst I've seen, in my honest opinion. Let's take a look at this character model here. Look at this. The graphics and the polygon counts are super low in this game. Nothing is impressive at all. The spell animations are just decent, and he looks really dumb when he's doing that spell, by the way. My character really looks dumb. Honestly, this game looks pretty ugly. There's nothing this game's doing that no games have done. This game could have been released in 2005 and it still would have been considered decent on the graphic scale. And in all honesty, I'm not a big fan of the art style provided with this game. It's bland, it really doesn't have any character, and it's just boring. All the environments look pretty similar from what I could tell, and enemies are all really look the same. It's very, very typical on what you do in this game, honestly. This game also as a whole is a flat out clone of pretty much every other game in this genre, and it doesn't do anything new per se. The gameplay is very bland. It involves just left clicking and right clicking enemies, which also this game also does have a pretty weird targeting system. I don't think the game does a very good job at determining when you miss and hit an enemy, which is a big flaw with a game like this, honestly. Because when I'll be honest, I'll be casting spells or melee attacking, and sometimes it'll look exactly like I hit an enemy dead on, but it'll go right through him, or and nothing will happen essentially. Also, this game makes you characters are very reliant on things such as health pots and mana pots, which isn't anything new in games like this, especially games in this genre. However, that reliance on stuff like that makes for a game where you're constantly going to have to be going back to the shops, or constantly going to have to go back to town, and it just gets boring. Also, combat in this game is very repetitive. When it works, it's okay, and it's okay. But half the time, once it does start working, you're gonna be doing the same thing over and over again, just killing the same enemies over and over again. And sure, the game will reward you once in a while for your efforts, but just in all honesty, this game does a pretty poor job when it comes to everything that it does. And we play games like this to have fun, No one wants to be fighting the same exact enemies over and over and over again with pretty much infinite waves of enemies. And that's also another big problem I've always had with the Torchlight games. You do nothing but going downstairs. You get into a dungeon, and all it is you're just going down levels. Sure, they fixed it a little bit in Torchlight 2. The environments are a little more diverse, and I give them props for that. But they're still extremely lacking. Torchlight 2 honestly does not feel like a full game. Every time I've been playing this game, I just keep thinking, this game is still in beta, and it's so not ready for prime time. This game is just extremely boring. Just extremely boring with everything it does. I have never actually, when it comes to games in this genre, I honestly had more fun playing Diablo 3 than I did with Torchlight 2. Simply because Diablo 3 actually had fun fighting mechanics and fun enemies. Whereas in this game, all I found was enemies were constantly given more and more health and more damage. They weren't given anything new, and it just got more and more frustrating as you progress through the game. This game, honestly, the enemies are extremely boring in this game. And there's one of the big flaws I have with it. Another thing I like to point out is stats in this game are very poorly done. I honestly don't know what they were thinking when they decided to give this game non-traditional stats, because this game items will randomly have, oh, okay, plus 3% of this or plus 5% of that. It doesn't run the traditional stat system of stamina, intellect, or whatever they call it, which I think that system works perfectly in a game like this. This game is so there's such weird design choices made by these developers. I honestly don't know what they were thinking when they made some of the design decisions they did with this game. Also, dying in this game is very, very punishing. You're going to be going through a lot of gold very quickly for dying in this game, and punishing people for dying so much is okay, but in this game they over punish people. I think it punishes you so much that there's no point in trying new things and taking risks. This game, you're just going to have to play safe, and if you want to ever make gold or ever maintain a decent money count, and you're just going to have to try to avoid dying as much as you can, unless this game is just going to punish the shit out of you. So, in all honesty, this game does a couple things right, but for the most part, this game is a failure in my opinion. It's not worth the money. So knowing that Torchlight 2 is just a game you should probably avoid. It's not a full game. It still feels like it's in beta. Maybe it'll get better as time progresses, but for now, I'm going to have to give this game a 2 out of 10. One of the lowest scores I've ever personally given a game in the review. I hope you guys enjoyed this review. Make sure you like and subscribe to the channel for Trollwind Gaming. Have a great day.